Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in. I know it's a long time no see, but here we are. The clicker's gonna click. I've been wrestling with this, not wrestling with it. It was laid on me a couple days ago, and I have to share a lot of the things that you may be going through. D. Griff? I know that ain't D. Griff. Sage Page, what's up? Joyce Hagan, what's up? But I see a big click by the name of D. Griff. Prayers to you, my brother. Prayers to the family, to the seed, to the offspring. I got sidetracked. D. Griff got in here. I forgot what I was talking about. What God was showing me was that a lot of the things that you're bumping into are a part of the sacrifice. There are blessings that God gives. He just gives freely as part of, we are his children. He gonna just drop some blessings on us every now and then. But I truly believe that all of the blessings that are the big, when I say big blessings, I mean these are the things that are going to speak to your lineage. These are the things that are going to last past you. These are the things that are going to keep on feeding. Those big blessings don't come without sacrifice. Prayers to King Tony. Prayers to King Tony. We rebuke those spirits that think they can torment you. They will not prevail. Can't be King Tony, can't be Kingdom United and be subordinate to any other energies. So even if you are, it's only temporary. I'm going to read something here. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell thee of. He said, man, go get your one son that you love as dearly. This is your only. See, you got to understand, in these times, your sons were important. Your sons carried the lineage. People would have outside relationships in this time just so they could have a son that would bear their name. Now, Abraham is promised to be father of many nations, but I'm promised to be father of many nations, but you're asking me to take the one son I do got, who I think all this stuff is going to come from, and take him up to the mountain and sacrifice him. And God was showing me that a lot of the things that you're going through, you're thinking are isolated events, but they're really part of the sacrifice. See, when you say, see, some of us, shout out Butterfly J, shout out Sean if I didn't say that, shout out Elvis. Some of us have said yes to God, be it through a job, be it through relationship, be it through business. Some of you said, well, I wasn't thinking about being in a relationship, and God said, well, this is your person, and as a part of this being your person, some things have to be sacrificed. If this is your job, this is a blessing to be a job. As a part of this being your job, some things had to be sacrificed. And when you say yes to God in that way and say, yeah, I want to be the change maker for my lineage. I want to be the chain breaker for my lineage. I want to stop some things from happening and start some things happening. Then you got to understand you're signing up to sacrifice some stuff. If God has called you to be a business owner, and you go and you have hard times in business, that doesn't change the call. That just is a signal that that's part of the sacrifice. And some of us are praying some things away, like God take this away, and God change this, and God do this, and God do that. And he's saying, no, I can't change that. I can't stop that right now because I'm leading you this way so you can sacrifice some things so I can drop the blessing on your lineage. And I want to go and give some parts of a sacrifice. Let's be clear. Number one thing, if you don't love it, then it may not be a sacrifice. God's not going to ask you to give up something that you have no connection to, because what you got to understand, when you're sacrificing these things, your sacrifice is also a form of worship. When you're saying, when he said, take your son up to the top of the mountain for the sacrifice, and Abraham said, yes, that's adoration and worship to God. He ain't say, man, nah, man, you know how long it took me to get this, son? Or, you know, that yes is a form of worship. So when you're in your quiet time and you hear God say, hey, go this direction. Hey, do this. Hey, you need to make this appointment. You need to go this way. And you raise your hand and say yes, even though going that way, you might have to lose a limb. You might have to sacrifice something. You're actually worshiping God in your response. And this is such a crazy word in the first sentence. And it came to pass after these things, so a bunch of stuff didn't happen. It says God did tempt Abraham. We don't see that a lot. Now, this is the part. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled up his ass and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son and clave the wood for the burnt offering and arose. See, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. The blessing that you want comes with a sacrifice, and you have to prepare yourself to do some things that you may not want to do, because that's a part of the blessing. If you want to be... And sometimes when God is blessing you, what you're hearing him saying sounds counterproductive to where you're going. If I'm going to be the father of many nations, why am I going to kill my own son? And this is so good that Abraham said in verse 5, he said, and Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship. Good gracious. If God told you to take a job and you feel like you were led to a job, but while you're there, you feel like you're getting adversity, you're getting pushed around, you feel like you're not getting your way, you have to understand, no, God led me here, and while I'm here, this, what I'm going through, is a part of the sacrifice. And if I continue to say, yeah, amen, we'll get to verse 8. And Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. And so they walked, and they walked, and they walked. And the story said see, this is the thing about sacrifice. Sometimes sacrifice is going to look like I'm 2 inches from death. See, death not always physical death. Sometimes it's your sacrifice like I'm 2 inches from going broke. I'm 2 inches from losing my house. I'm 2 inches from losing this relationship. I'm 2 inches from losing a child. But I'm still walking all the way through with the yes. Because, see, you know what would happen to a lot of us? We would have got up there, we would have laid our son down, and we would have got ready. We were like, man, I can't do this. And we would have walked back down that mountain. I can't sacrifice this. And that's what God is doing. When he's putting things in your way, when he's putting obstacles in your way, and this is not an attempt to destroy you. It's an attempt to unlock you. Because when you say, yeah, I know all that's gone, and I know all that didn't work, but it's still a yes. It's still a yes to your will and yes to your way. That's when the ram in the bush come. At the 2-inch mark, at the 1 centimeter mark, at the 0.00. And I know I'm a living witness, but I know I got a bunch of witnesses in here where you've seen God come at the 0 hour. When all the options dried up, he dropped something on you. This is the ram in the bush. And what I'm encouraging you, because, see, I really feel like when I get active on this page, it's because I'm feeling a shift. And God will make me come in here and sit down. And he will let nothing else work but me coming in here and sitting down. But when I come in here and sit down, it's a sacrifice. I can't do this or that job. I can't work on that. I can't do that. I have to sacrifice that time. I done been there. I done been there when they saying we coming on the 13th and God do something on the 12th. I done been there when they said we gonna turn it off at 5 o'clock and God do something at 3:30. But as we move into this next season, we got to understand everything not meant for murder. It's not meant to hurt you. But I'm going to take you all the way there with that sacrifice. If you saying, yeah. As soon as he said, yeah, I'm going to take the son up there, God said, all right, cool. I'm going to take you all the way there and see what's really good with you. Because what I'm releasing is too important to have a wishy-washy dude and a wishy-washy dude trying to do it. I got to have somebody sold out to when I say this your only thing you got, will you give it up? Here you go. Some of us ain't never been sold out like that. And some of us have been sold out like that in the past, and we've forgotten, because see, what God does is take us from faith to faith and glory to glory. So you forgot you had to sacrifice to get on this level. So when the new stuff come up, you're like, what's going on? Well, no, it's time for another sacrifice. Somebody get this morning. Ways to know that it's a sacrifice. Number one, you got to love it. If you don't love it, it ain't no sacrifice. When God's saying be a giver and tithe and give with 10%, he's asking you to give 10% of something you actually like. It ain't like you don't like having that 10, but that's what makes it a sacrifice. Second thing, sometimes your sacrifice is going to feel like it's the only thing you have. You ever felt like you done lost it all? I gave it up. I gave all of it up in the pursuit to follow this. I gave it all up in that pursuit. Another thing about a sacrifice, the sacrifice gonna make you look crazy. Imagine what them two assistants was thinking when they was walking up with Abraham and his son. They like, well, we got everything. If we stand down here and the ass is staying down here and it's just the son, who about to get sacrificed? This looking real crazy. And I'm telling you right now, God don't even want to get active until it look crazy. God is a show off. You got to understand that. Because part of you being his child is bringing people into the kingdom. And you can't bring people into the kingdom if he don't show off in your life. So he going to do some things in front of people. Thank you, Jesus. He going to do some things in front of people. He going to have people looking at you look like you about to die or be sacrificed. He going to have people watch that. Imagine when them two boys that was with Abraham got back down to the bottom of the mountain and the boy's still alive, and now they done sacrificed the ram that was in the bush. They got to be saying, surely there's a God. I came up there with them. I know they ain't have nothing. See, it's people around you saying, I came up with him. I know he don't got nothing. So when they come back, when you come back down and you're fulfilled, it's going to throw them off. It's going to make you look crazy because they saw you when you went up. And here's the hard part about a sacrifice. The sacrifice always feels longer than the manifestation of the blessing. It probably took them boys 3-4 days to get up that mountain. 5 days traveling time. But if we back out, you got to think about that in our world. It probably take months. It probably take years to travel to that next destination. For a ram that's in the bush in 2 seconds. And that's the word I want you to hang on. It's a 2-second last minute save the day ram in that bush. If I faint not. If I continue to say yes and amen, no, I ain't going to go back to living like that. I ain't going to go back to doing that. I ain't going to go back to that. I sacrificed this to come after you. I sacrificed this to come after what you said was mine. I sacrificed that stuff. So no, yeah, I might cry. See, that ain't the thing. It never said Abraham ain't cry. It never said he didn't get sad. He wasn't vexed with sadness. It didn't say he jumped up and cheered and said, yeah, God, I can't wait to sacrifice my only son. But he went anyway with tears in his eyes, with sadness in his heart, with pain in his chest, with confusion, with anxiety. He just preparing the stuff. Come on, guys, we got to go up to, we got to go up there and sacrifice. Come on, guys. And here's the thing about it. This is what I love on that first sentence. He said, I ain't even going to tell you which mountain to go to. Just as you get closer, I'm going to reveal it. And that's a tough thing for people right now. Some of us are going to places that haven't been revealed. We just know a direction. We just know a direction. But as we get closer, he's going to say, right here. Stop right here. This is a sad verse on here. But I'm going to read it anyway. When it got to verse 7, and Isaac spake unto Abraham, his father, and said, my father. And Abraham said, here I am, my son. And he said, I behold the fire. I see the wood. But where is the lamb for the burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they both went up together. Here's 10. Here, I'm skipping down to 10. Get this. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called. It's before we even get to verse 10, it's 3 or 4 different times where God then spoke to Abraham. And what that tells me is on this journey, if you don't got no relationship with God, you'll be about to kill something that he wants to save. How can you hear the voice of God if you're not praying and you're not getting quiet and finding meditation? I'm not saying you got to be a freaking nun or a monk. But if you're not in that constant relationship and you're not in that constant conversation, then all of these little intricacies. So that means that while he was in pain, while he was hurting for what he had to do, he still was keeping an ear out. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, here I am, Abraham. And said, Abraham, hold on. I love Abraham. Abraham always says, here I am. When God called me, I want to say, here I am, y'all. This me. You got me right. What's good? What we need to do? And he said, lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God. See, that's what I'm saying. When stuff is going wrong and you're leaning on God and saying, God, you gotta do something, you gotta help me, that's saying, oh, you know who the boss is. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld his son, withheld his money, withheld this job, withheld this relationship, withheld these addictions, withheld these relationships with parents, withheld these relationships with family. You have not withheld these things. You're willing to sacrifice them unto me. And Abram lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by the horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. This is. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is, and said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. This is good. Y'all know I don't never read this much, but I got to give it all to you. And the angel of the Lord called him to Abraham for the second time. Now, it's a couple of times God speaking to him, the other times angel speaking to him from God directly to him, and said, this is what the angel said, by myself I have sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seeds as the stars in the heaven. And that, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. You just think you just doing something. Tina Tree, what's up? You just think you just surviving. You just think you trying to figure it out. You just think, but every action that you take towards what God has called you to do is a sacrifice and a saying of yes. And when he bless you, the ram, see, because sometimes, see, don't confuse the ram for the blessing. The ram is part of it, but the blessing is the multiplication. And sometimes when God figures something out for you and give you a ram in a bush, you like, oh, God done bless me. Nah, he just trying to keep you going down the path so you can get the big blessing. I was led this way. I ain't come over here on my own. All right, folks, I'm gone.